Hi everyone, a few minutes late, but welcome to those who are here for the Great Australian Craft Show. Sorry, I'm just bumping the screen. Oops-a-daisy. Okay, can't be bumping the screen. Make mental note to self. So I'm just going to wait for a few of you guys to hop on. Good morning, Sue. How are you? All rugged up this morning. I'll get my glasses, I think. See if I can do this without fogging up. Good morning, Helen. Good morning, Jill. How are you both? Tassie, bet you it's cold down there too. We're near Ballarat, so it's just about Tassie weather. It's very cold. Got the sun out though today, so it's not too bad. I see we've got about 14 on. I'll just wait a little bit longer. So what we're going to do today is, I've got quite a few classes if you didn't notice. Hi Anne, I can see that you're watching. Welcome. And we're going to do a bit of free motion quilting. I was sitting out there thinking, you know, I can't use the word Zen quilting because, hi Rado, Zen quilting is copywritten by a family in America, and it's, you know, and I don't do Zen quilting anyway. I quilt with a bit of Zen. So, you know, my quilting is very liberated. It's very, well, it's free form. Hi Suzanne, Karen, the sun is shining in Shepparton, lovely. So I think I will be today registering it as hi Lynette, sorry, hi Lynette. And I think I'm going to call my quilting, free motion quilting side of it TQL, which stands for the Quilting Liberationist, or Liberation, the Quilting Liberist, yeah, Liberist, I think. And I think that will be, the TQL will start being a bit of an acronym for what I have. I can't believe it snowed in Launceston. Never happened when I lived here. Yeah, it would. Hi, Catley. Yeah, Sue. Yeah, it snowed here the other day, which you would have seen on the video. It does occasionally, every year or two, it snows, but we're at 355 above sea level, so it's got to be really cold for it to snow here. So I'm just going to go through very briefly what I've got. Now my fingernails are revolting because obviously I've not been to the nail tech. I haven't had time, and to be honest with you, I'm just going to leave it for now. I'm not worrying about it. And my hands are dry from washing them all the time, which we're probably all coping with. But I just want to go through some products. So the products that I'm using today are the Superior Top Stitch needles, and they are, there they are. This is going to be back to front. These are Top Stitch 9014s. They're a titanium based needle. I do have them on my website. Hi Chris, I can see you there. Okay, so it's sea level. Yeah, that is really, really low. So that's amazing. The other product that I'm using today are my quilting gloves, which have been 36 for quite some time. They are going to be going up, well, they're up now, up to 42 on the website. Hi Terry, that's them there. You can see just there. But for those who are registered with the Craft Alive crew, hi Sheila. And Terry, I think I just said hello to Terry, are going to be able to get these at 35, which is still that dollar, a little bit cheaper than the 36 that they were. So that's going to be a super duper bonus special for those who are with the Craft Alive group. Love the gloves. Yes, they are amazing, aren't they, Karen? They are the best things since sliced. Yeah, I knew what you meant. Best thing since sliced bread. I can't do anything. I even piece with them. I don't do anything these days without them. Sometimes I forget they're on, and I've told a lot of people this, and I end up going, hi, Julie. G'day, love. Beck. Hi, Beck. And I tend to go to the toot with them on and stuff like that. So I'm also using pre-wound bobbins, just so you know. I'll just show you those. So these are all... Hi, Sally. Good morning, Dot. So these are pre-wound from Wonderfil, Decobob. They're 80 weight, and that means that they're really quite fine, so they tend to disappear into the back. Not that I'm worried about the back when I do this sort of thing, because I'm sort of doing it because I love to play. So these have a lot on them. They're a size L, which is, a size M, which is for your sit-down machine. There's 36, I think, or maybe more, I think, in these, in the pack, and they're $45. I think there's even more than that. I'm not too sure. I'd have to count them. I wouldn't have a clue. So these are black, obviously, and g'day, Kelly. How are you, mate? I've got a mask here for you too. I'll try and get it down to the shop sometime today. But what I do know about these is that when I use them, they are the same tension on them every single time. I don't have any tension issues. The only thing I find is that they are quite thin. So see how they're quite thin, whereas the Janome bobbins are quite wide. So you can see there. So what I do is I pop these little darlings in. And this is your little bobbin genie, these little fellas. So I pop one of those in. You'll have them forever. There they are, little fellow in the bottom underneath the bobbin. And that stops it from jumping around and making a noise and causing issues. So that's those. So these are $45 for a pack. There's quite a lot in them, and they come in many, many colours. That's the Wonderfil Decobobs. And then these fellas here are only $13. The Bobbin Genies, they're only $13, so they're quite cheap as well. You're going to hear Dot's coming into work today, so she's got her mask on. She's been a good girl. I don't at the moment, so I apologise, but you won't be able to hear me if I've got a mask on. But Dot's got hers on, so that's the main thing. I now have my gloves on, and I've started a flower the other week, and I don't know if you guys remember this or if you saw this this fella, but this is all free motion quilting. So I have decided just to continue on. Oh, I didn't mention to you either, the thread that I'm using is called Wonderfil Mirage, and it's a number 26. They're the colours. Teacher class, wish I could stay. Oh, that's okay, Joe. We'll catch you next time. You can always play this later. Sorry, Suzanne. Yes, we'll see you next time. You can always play it back. It'll be on the videos, and I'll put it on YouTube as well. So this is a Wonderfil thread, and it is 30 weight, and there's 800 meters on a reel, and it's only, I think it's 1330, which is pretty good, but it tends to be quite good with what I'm doing here. Now, what I'm going to do is, like I said, I started doing a flower, and it's exactly like this one. Whoops days, it's very close, so I hope you can see it. There it is. So what we're going to do is fill it in. I did start with a different colour, so I'm going to probably go back over what I've already done. Now I'm going to move in a little closer. Itchy nose, I've got to scratch it. Sorry, Dot's just standing here looking at it. Yeah, I'm feeling, oh yeah, no, I'm fine, Stella. Yeah, it's very gorgeous. So Dot, if you touch the screen and on the computer, you'll get the orders. It's Gidget's order needs to be double checked and everything. So bear with me while I also help out Dottie while she's here. I pay her by the hour, so I can't afford not to. All right, so I make the thread disappear. so you can see that. I might just see if I can pop this camera up a bit and have you looking down on top. Sorry, that was my bad. There we go. Let's get that a bit more. Oops a days. There it is. There you can see more. There we go. So you can sort of see what I'm doing now. I'm going to go back over those lines I already started, so you'll watch me do that. And I'm not really a perfectionist, as you know, so hence the liberation type side of the quilting. So we're going to call this liberated quilting. Needle up for a second. I just need to change the setting on my machine and move that over. So I'm just moving my needle over. I like it over to the left more than the right. It's just less strain on the machine. And needle down. Okay, so bear with me 2 seconds. Okay, so what you need to do, Dottie, is grab Gidget's order, which is on the bench. Yep, go through what's on there. I've put the postage in. Double check the weight of it before you do to make sure the postage is, if it's over 1 kilo, it'll go into that price. If it's under 1 kilo, it's a different price, and I'll let you know what it is. Yeah, I like liberated quilting. Yeah, well, the Quilting Liberist, I think liberated quilting is actually been got. No, Stella, a bit of hay fever today. Just a little bit of hay fever, a bit snotty. Had temperature taken yesterday, so all good. I'm not I'm not snotty. So I'm just going to take my tension up to around about 5.4 and just do a bit of a knot. You'll also notice that I don't what was I going to say then? I don't use a foot, I use my stop start button. Why is that being naughty? Okay, so let's go cut off. Let's see if it'll sew properly now. No, might have to just turn her off and on again. She's just decided not to play nicely. So, yeah, so the Quilting Liberist, I think, so the TQL, which means I'll probably get a little bit of a brand going, which will be nice. And, yeah, just get all the settings right again. Get that over there. Put my tension up. And put down, needle down. Let's see if she wants to play nice now. Oh, no, it doesn't. What's going on? Okay. I'll do that one. Let's try this one, see if that setting likes it. Oh, there you go. It wants to play. I think the feed dogs might be up if I've got it on this setting. So, I'm a little bit curious as to how that will work. Oh, there we go. That's better. Now I've got the right setting on. God, bad morning. Alright, so again, I'm not going 100 miles an hour. I'll just try and keep my hands out of the way. So I'm just sort of nails off, ready for hospital. I see. Isn't that the way when you're ready to get all temperamental? Yeah. I remembered I had a PC stick, so I have watch you on the TV now. Nice. So you'll get a nice big close-up view then. So I don't go 100 miles an hour, as you see. I sort of take it fairly easy. I'm just keeping an eye on comments and stuff. Obviously this is going to be back to front because it's in selfie mode. And that feels like it's too low. There we go. I'm just going to adjust that. And I'm wondering whether now I've adjusted things yet. The thing's not right. There we go. Yeah. Technical side of life, hey? How hard's life? Alright, so then I'm just following back down, a little bit of a squiggle at the bottom to create the petal. And what I'll do is after I actually do this little demo, I will draw it out on a piece of paper so you can literally see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm just following over those. So I've been actually wrapping in tissue paper first to protect the fabric, then a bag, and then into boxes or bags. Yep.
1,300.
Yep, so that would be the same, the 1,595, 35, yeah. Hi Michelle, big slack today. Oh, is it? Okay, so it's is it a big delay? All right, so let's go back over to the next petal. If you've got a really big lag, you might need to, travelling along there, you might need to log out and log back in. And you can see I travel back over the same lines. I don't cut off and all that sort of jazz and bury threads and stuff. And this sort of quilting, you really can't do that. There's just, you'd be there 30 million times in one day just trying to rethread things. And that'll drive me nuts. I wouldn't do it. In fact, I don't do it. Just coming back up here. That's making noise because I've got that too high. It really is. I am definitely a colour person. Yeah, look, they are just gorgeous. Look at them. So I'm going to show you how to do this one again. No, it's me with the slack. Oh, you're having a slack day. Good on you. Like it. All right. So down the centres of those petals, just to give them a bit of direction. So if you were to do straight lines, like literally straight up and down, they would not have the shape. I'm going in the direction of the petal, and that gives them a bit of a curve. Each one, I'm sort of coming in the flow with that petal. So each time I go in, I'm giving it that little bit of a curve. It's not a lot, it's very tiny, but it's enough to create the shape. Okay, so a little bit in. I'll make larger ones, longer ones, smaller ones, you know, all different sizes. A little one in the middle there, a bit of a gap. Down there. And then we'll go to the next one. And you'll notice that if you do a straight line, you'll notice the difference between that and the sort of wavier line. So just go back in and go back over that one and give it a bit of a curve, or, you know, put another one next to it with a bit of curve in it. You know, just sort of fill in a little bit. Don't be frightened to make it a little bit sketchy, you know, it's no big deal. There's no quilt police in my classrooms, I've decided. So, hello Margaret. Me too, Kathleen. I was going to do PJ Day for the first time, but decided not to in case you're off. I'm blaming the cold weather. Yeah, look, just go with the flow, girls. Why not? I've got the kids home now, school, homeschooling, remote learning or whatever it is. I sort of think they enjoy it because that means they don't have to get up and get in their uniforms. They just sort of bludge. They do their work, but they bludge. You know, it means lunch. They don't have to go and walk out anywhere. They can just go to the kitchen and back again. Okay, so I've just done that nice little area. Hi, Janine. All right, so I've just done those lines in there. And now I'm going to do this little sketchy bit. So the needle's going to go up, and I'm going to show you what I do. So I'm going to go, oops-a-daisy, with the zigzag, and I'm going to make the zigzag size 0.5. All right. So that way it misses my foot with a bit of luck, otherwise I'm going to replace a needle. Do you draw the pattern on the fabric before starting as a guide? Beck, yeah, I do sometimes, yeah. So I'll show you what I mean. No. Okay, it's going to miss that foot. So I've just put it at a 0.5 zigzag and I'm moving in sort of random ways. I was going to do housework, but watching you instead. Nice, like the style. So we're going to do a little bit of a zigzag thing, and that is going to give it that nice scratchy sort of look, filling in, but without making it look like I've satin stitched in there or anything like that. But it's just going to create this really nice textured area. So you can see how cool that looks with the zigzag. Then I'm going to put my needle back up again and go back to what I was doing before, which is the straight stitch. So now I'm going to, oh no, I'm not actually. I'm going to go back to what I was. My apologies. Let's go back here because I want to fill up that whole area. So, nice one. There we go. I'm just going to put my needle down for a second while I grab my pencil. Go send. Once you've done that, you can send it. Go send. Click on send. All right. So what I do is, hi Faye. Yep, and then go to drafts up the top, the blue section. That's no, up the no. See how you got red, big red line next to that is blue. Click on that blue. Sorry guys, my apologies. Hi Wendy and Faye. Good morning, Faye. All right, so the next one in line is Kay Harriet. So click on that, and down the bottom you'll go edit. Yep, and it'll come up with the whole thing. Yep, and scroll down so you can see the order, and just double check that everything's there. So what I'm going to do is sorry about that, ladies. Just come back here. I'm just going to draw the size that I want, and this is that chalk pencil, that Bowen chalk pencil I like to use, and it does just dust off or wash off, and I do have them in stock. They are $27 for a pack, and you get quite a few refills. So what about Richard? Who's Richard? Morning. Oh, okay. All right, so let's get back into it, hey? So let's fill up this area. And with a little zigzag, it doesn't take long at all. If you're trying to fill this up with a straight stitch, you'd be there for quite some time. I do like to leave a little bit of that black background so that I can see in between. And you can see how there's quite a bit of gathering happening. That's because it's heavy stitching, but I'm going to stitch the life out of it, and you're not going to see that at all. And this is the beauty of the liberated stuff. This is why I like to do it, because any of those little mistakes or issues that you come across can be stitched to death and fixed pretty much quickly, you know, straight away. No issues whatsoever. All right, so then we go cut off. I've actually I don't need to cut off. I'm going to put needle up again, and I'm going to go back to my straight stitch. Again, I need to make sure my tensions are adjusted, because this is all, you know, sort of electric, computer run. Every time I adjust it, I need to also adjust my tension. How high can you go with tension? I'm up to 7 and still not perfect underneath. I said, what about me? Sheila, that sort of tells me that maybe just maybe, it tells me two things. It could be one of two things. It could mean that your machine actually needs a service, or it could mean that your bobbin tension might need adjusting. So tell me a little bit more. Are you seeing a straight line on the back or the top? Are you seeing eyelashing? What are you seeing? And then I might be able to help you out. All right, so just readjusting and putting my needle back down, because now I want to go over in here And you can see here I've got this big gap, and see how it's all getting really like bubbly. All right, so I'm just going to do a little bit of traveling, just a bit of a wobbly travel up over there, right to the edge of that flower that I just did. And I want to quilt that to death to make it push down. Okay, so I don't want to have all this bubbling. I want to make it sort of look like it's smooth. So there's many things that I can do. One thing I'm not going to do is start in the middle of the flower top, because that just looks weird. Straight line in the back, not due for a service. Okay, straight line in the back tells me that the top tension is too loose, which might mean if you've got it up to 7, then maybe your bobbin tension might be a bit tight if that's the case. So maybe slacken off your bobbin tension, so lefty loosey, righty tighty. If it's a front loading bobbin, you only need to move it the slightest, tiniest little bit. If it is a top loading, just do it a little bit at a time and test as you go. But normally to have it at 7 would tell me that, you know, that's quite high with free motion quilting. You know, that's not unusual, but it's quite normal. But it's it tells me that if you're still getting tension issues on the back, that's normally coming from the top thread. So if you've still tried as much as you can at the top, try reducing, like taking your bobbin tension down a bit. It might be too tight, pulling that top thread down to the bottom, creating a line. So give that a go, see what happens. Okay, so let's do something in here. So I've got these tiny little circle things and all sorts of stuff, but I think I might just actually do a couple of wiggly sort of leaves. So I've got some up here. I don't know if you can see them because it's so tight. It's up right up here. There they are, those little fellas. And we might do some of those, but we're just going to do them in different directions. So we make a center one, come back out on one side, down to the start, back to the top of the first line, back down the other side. Come back out in a different direction, come way on one side, wow, we're tongue-tied, and up the other, and then down halfway, and let's go up to here. Let's go down one side, up the other, and I might come back out again because I want to now travel back down to the center there and create another little one from here. They sort of look like leaves, but they're more like little wiggly things. So we're going to come back up here, and then I'm going to travel up this one, and you watch this, you watch it just all flatten out beautifully. So, you know, when people do their free motion quilting and they do that panic thing, I find that majority of the time it's to do with, especially if they've done a heavy stitching, they haven't used a stabilizer that's strong enough to cope with the heavy stitching, and then they need to continue on with their heavy stitching, because you can't just heavy stitch one part but not stitch the other. Like it'll just create lots of creasing and bubbling and all sorts of horrible nasty things. So as you can see, it's filling up nicely down one side. I'm going to travel up that little one and down halfway, come out in a different direction, a little bit of a wave. It doesn't matter if they're straight or, you know, whichever direction, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to come in here and just put a little one in there, just fill up that gap, come down here. I like to put a bit of a wave in it, it just makes it a little bit interesting. If I can't get a whole one in, I'll just put in the pretend one in there. You can make them look like they're going behind each other. You can make them larger and smaller. Just keep those lines fairly close together, about a 1/8 of an inch at the most. The further apart you have, the higher the chance you have of them making a bubbling effect. foot's a bit high again, and that's because I'm stitching down this area is so tight. Okay, so coming now. I'm going to stop in a minute. I just stop and recheck just to make sure that I'm still going in the direction that I want to go. Did one out here, just to finish that area off. All right. What thread are you using, Michelle, and can I have some, please? Isn't it lovely? Love the thread colour. Beautiful work. Thanks, Susan. Michelle Armstrong was wondering about the foot too. Okay, what foot are you using? I don't have one like that. My box of feet, and prefer the look of yours, and the plastic ones come with the machine. Okay, so all right. How do you do that on a Janome DC 2110 Bobbin Tension? Hang on. How do you do that on a Janome DC 2150? They're Bobbin Tension. Not too sure what you're asking me there, Catley. What do you mean by how do you do it for the bobbin tension? So are you having bobbin tension issues on your DC 2150? I'll get to yours, Michelle and Beck. Love the thread. Beautiful work. Can I also get an invoice for my last package? I don't think I've paid for it yet. Margaret Johnson. Margaret, I will also organise that. Have we done Margaret's yet? Yeah. When you were talking to Sheila about loosening it, yep. Okay, so when you've got a bobbin case in front of you, you loosen it lefty-loosey and righty-tighty. It's that little straight screw, that the straight, what they call it, a Phillips head. Is that right? Phillips head is the straight one. Oh, no, that's a star one. So it's a flat screw. Yeah. You were talking about the other lady on 7 setting, but on her back, her work didn't look right. Yeah. Okay. So even though she had, so if you've got you're doing free motion quilting and your tension is at 7, and you're still getting that straight line on the back, what I said was that you might need to, if you've tried everything else and it doesn't need a service, or before it goes to service. Yours is computerized. Yep. So, Catley, I put my tension with free motion quilting on about 6. And if you've got your bobbin won't be computerized. Your bobbin tension needs to be kept. That's why they give you a screwdriver and a screw, so you can adjust it, I suppose. So you just need to make sure that you can adjust it a little bit at a time, just very little at a time. So if it's showing as a straight line on the back of the fabric, that means it's something wrong with the top tension. If it's showing a straight line on the top, and then it means something's wrong with the bottom and needs to be tightened up. Oh, good. Thank you. I have to go home. Reschooling recess has finished. Hope I can watch later. No worries, Karen. Yes, I'll be. It'll be recorded and put on YouTube as well. So, Catley, if you wanted to send me a picture of what it's doing, if it's playing up, and tell me whether it's a front or back and all that sort of stuff, I'm happy to help you out. I'm also going to have a chat later on today about, I think it's 5 o'clock, I think it was, or 3, I can't remember what time it was now. I did send off a thing about any questions that you've got. That's the sort of thing I'm hoping that people want to bring to me and ask me. So I'd love to be able to help you out, Catley. So if I know a little bit more, I'll probably be able to give you a bit more information. All right. Okay, so looking at that now, I'm going, well, how cool is that little area there is now flattened? But I can see over here, which you probably can't see because I've zoomed out. I'm just going to try and zoom. There we go. That's a bit better. Zoom out a bit, and you can see this is still a little bit bubbly. So I can do one of two things. I can cut off and just come back over here, or I can travel back around. I'm going to cut off. I don't have issues just asking as going to learn. Oh, okay, sure. So with your bobbin tension, you shouldn't need to adjust it unless it's showing issues on the top of your fabric. So if you're showing a straight line on the top of your fabric, it might mean that your bobbin tension is too loose. So it means that the top tension is actually pulling it up. If it's a straight line on the back, that could mean that one of two things. It's mainly that the top tension is too loose. If you've got your top tension set at like 6 or 7 and it's still doing it, which it shouldn't, if it is doing that, then that's why I was saying to Sheila, maybe adjust your bobbin tension down a little bit. It obviously might, well, not obviously, it could be too tight, which is pulling that top tension down into to make a straight line on the back. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. A bit of yeah, so all right, so yeah, postage. Have you put postage in there?
No, it's 2.2,
so that's got to be so postage, yes. So just go, who's that one to?
okay.
Yep, so send.
Yeah, but I haven't got postage. 2.2 kilos.
Yeah, that's fine. It's $15.95, $15.35. That's the right postage amount. Yeah. So I'm going to come back over here. Sorry, I'm just doing 6 things at once, and I'm going to come in here now. Just to tell you what thread this is. This is a Wonderfil thread called Mirage. It's a lovely variegated thread. This is thread number 26. There are quite a few colours. 1330 a reel, and there's 800 meters a reel. So as you can see, it just does the work for me. So now I'm coming over here. Oops, a bit of a jump there. And so in my case, just turn the tension down on the arrows to go up or down. Yeah, so yes, exactly. Yes, so you would need to adjust your tension. When you set it to free motion quilting, you need to drop the feed dogs, you know, you've got your foot on and all that sort of jazz, but then you need to adjust your tension. That's a really important thing. If you have your tension on auto or 4, which is, there's no really such thing as auto because your machine doesn't really know what you're putting in underneath the needle, and until you sort of tell it what you're doing, you'll find that your tension will be too slack, okay, for the movement. It needs to be tightened up a bit so that it can grab and pull as you're moving, because the feed dogs are not working. So the feed dogs are down, so it has no idea what's happening with the fabric because it can't grab it and move it. So as far as that's concerned, yeah, the auto thing is just a stock standard version of number 4. So 4 is your average for your sewing. So so just getting back over here. Oh, and also people, this foot actually came with the machine. Not all machines will take this foot. It's a free motion foot. My suggestion would be to, this has got like a screw down thing on it. Oh, good, Catley, I'm glad. Sometimes I talk a bit of gibberish and I'm not too sure if everyone understands me. So this one here adjusts up and down. I don't know the code number or anything of it. I can try and find out from Wendy, or if Wendy's watching, hopefully, or I can see if she knows. But it will only suit certain machines and stuff like that. When you get your plastic one, if you've got a plastic one that's got that full closed-in thing, my suggestion with you, I've got one as well, little darling, it came with the machine. You can actually, You can actually, yeah, Catley, I agree. See that those two red lines? You can actually carefully cut that out. It's only plastic. Then get a nail file or file and actually file it down so it's smooth. Okay, so it doesn't catch on your fabric, and that becomes an open toe foot. The only thing is, this is like a pogo stick, so you can see how it'll bounce up and down like when it works. So that's a pogo stick, what we call a pogo stick. See that thing there? That'll bounce up and down. Oh, good, Pat. You need a break. You can sit here and watch me work. So that makes it jump up and down. So this sits on the actual needle bar, over the top of the needle bar, and as the needle goes up and down, it pushes up and down. That's what we call a pogo. Not a great deal, Pat. I'm sort of just quilting away at the moment, doing a bit of free motion in here. This one here doesn't bounce. Okay, so this one doesn't actually bounce. When I work, it just sits there. I actually have to adjust it manually with a screw at the side. It's like a little wheel, and not that you can see it, but it does go up and down. So if I wind it up, you'll see it get a big gap, and if I wind it right down, it'll sit down further to the actual fabric. So it's moving down now. There we go. It's as far as it'll go, and then if I wind it back the other way, it'll lift right up above the fabric. You can't see very well because we're too far away. All right, so if I have it too far off the fabric, that's when I'll have it missing and skipping stitches. But if I have it too close, then it's going to push into the fabric and stop me from sewing. Okay. Now, I do have about 3 reels of that thread. A bit of grabbing going on there. Just make sure that those little things, no, they're down. That thread that I've got there, I think those 2 ladies that wanted it quickly send me a PM. That would be awesome. And I can order more if need be. I do have lots of other colours. This would probably be the brightest of the bunch, but I do love it. But I thought I would stick with this colour, even though I did start doing it in another colour. Oh, it keeps grabbing. I'm thinking there might be a lot of build-up underneath. I'll just have a quick squeeze at it. Yeah, there's build-up. See, I don't do perfect. See, look, all the build-up, all the little knots and stuff. You know, there it is there. All right, so I've done enough of that one. So what I'm going to do is show you. Would be great if Wendy could find the number and if it would work on this 6700p. If so, can I order one? Michelle, I reckon it will. If we can order it in, because yours is a high shank and so is mine, and I think yours is a 9mm as well as mine. So just do me a favour, because I'm doing a demo at the same time. Just send me a quick PM as well. I know it's annoying, but just so I don't forget, because I do forget. As most people know, I've got a brain like a sieve unless someone reminds me. So that would be a super awesome, handy thing to do. Now, over here, you can probably see the start of something I draw. Oh, no, you probably can't. So I'm going to draw it again. Now, the other day I used the sew line pencils, and I just want to show you that it's not only the sew lines that you can do this with. So I'm going to, hopefully you can see, and just move the thread out of the way. I'm going to do one that comes down like this, so you can see the pencil. The chalk, and then I'm going to make it like this, like that. So I've created 2 lines at the side, and then I've created the top. Thanks, Margaret. I just got your message. I have them for my 60. Oh, you do you, Rado? That's fantastic. Well, I'll get on to Wendy for Michelle. All right, so now I'm going to create one of those. You see that buttercup sort of shape? We're going to do one of those. So this one, I might even come down a little bit there. That's how I do it. I just create the basic shape, okay? So for this one here, I would go, okay, well, I want to do one, say, here. So I get the start, the center, and I go, all right, that's my out ones, that's those ones, that and that, and I'll create that shape. And that shape tells me that I'm going to do something like this. Fiona. Yeah, Fiona, we can pop one on your next order. No worries. Just quickly, again, send me that PM just to remind me, because, you know, the old brain sieve thing. All right, so this tells me, because I do the practice thing on paper, that that's the shape I'm going to do. And when I first start these, I start this shape. I will start in the center, and I'll start down the bottom. Needle down there. Foot down, sorry, needle down. Oh, Pat, this pencil's brilliant. And what happens with these, and I've said it a few times, but you press the end in, that one there, and it opens up like a little jaw there. It's a bit hard doing it around the other machine, and I'm doing it back to front. There we go. And then you just slide that in. And then it comes with a little pencil sharpener. So if you want to sharpen it and get a finer line, you can do that as well. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. All right, just got that reminder, thank you. Starting here, I'm going to come up and I'm going to make a little wavy top, sorry, and come back down here. And you'll see it's very, very fluffy, so to speak, like it's full. Because of all this stitching around, it'll make that outside area very full. I'm just doing a few little lines there, just to stitch that down a bit. And I can see a little bit of fluff, and it's annoying me. And I'll come back down, and I'll come back to here. Go back up against that last stitch line that I did, do another wiggly line, come back down, and I'm coming in to that angle. So just to draw that out for you, I'm making sure that I'm coming in on that angle, okay? So they're not definitely straight up and down, they come in on that angle, all right? I like the thicknesses, I can actually see it. Yeah, yeah, they can be thick, yeah. You just got to decide which side of the line you're going to just sew on. And then I'm going to come back up here. To do a little bit of a scribble down the base there, and I'm going to come back up this side and do the next one, bit of a wiggle, and then come out. Sorry, I'm hoping my hands aren't, it's very hard when I'm trying not to get my hands in the way. A few lines down the bottom then, down the bottom there, travel over to the next side. I'm just going to move it around so I can see what I'm doing. I sent you a pic of the foot by inbox. Great. Thanks, Rado. That's great. Thank you very much. All right, so I've just done that side. Now I'm going to do this side. So let's go over here, come up. That's a bit better. Bit of a wiggly line. Got to make that one a bit higher than the other one. Doesn't matter. A couple of lines in between. Then come up again. Probably could be going a little bit faster. I just didn't want to shred any thread. And that one there, line there, travel down, because I want to make it look like it's coming out and sort of around itself. Then travel back down. The same line I did before. And do a few lines at the bottom. And I can see it sort of needs just one more out here, just coming up to that top bit. Now I'm going to stop. Now that is all just looking at it going, okay, is the shape right? Is it wrong? Do I need to change things? What do I need to do? So just as you're going along, you'll look at it and you'll go, okay, well, it looks like it's leaning to one side. We need to change that. And then you can make your adjustments, okay? And with this process, because it's so liberated, there's no rules with it, which I love. You can either cut off, you can travel back down, you can do whatever you like just to get back down to that spot, because I really and truly want to keep it consistent, so it's consistently messy. and get back up to the top. So I made sure I did that little line down there just to fill in the bottom, make it look like it's got some detail. And then I'm going to come up to the top and do those few little lines that they have, just like the other ones. Come across. There we go. Now, and because I'm not going 100 miles an hour, if I have to stop and just move my hands or anything like that, I'm not going to get any major, shredding and things. Again, just remember to keep your little lines in the direction that the petals are falling through, in the direction that the petals are going, and then you won't have any issues with it looking strange or, or out of shape. All right, so I'm just going to come down there, fill that up a little, and then I get to this spot. Okay. Masks take the joy out of sewing. They do, don't they? It's more of a chore than it is anything else. So I can either cut off or I can travel back down, and I'm going to do this top bit. Now the temptation is to start here and then just move over and just go across. But I want to start at the center because I want the petals. So I've got one petal starting here and here. So I want these ones to actually go in between if I can. Just like that. Okay, that gives me a bit of a guide where I'm going. Yeah, I don't like sewing to be a chore. As soon as my love for sewing becomes a chore, that's when I'm going to stop. Okay, just a heads up. Alright, so, and these ones here, again, I'm just travelling up, doing a bit of a wiggle at the top, keeping them in that same direction as I did the bottom ones, but I'm only putting those few lines on the top there, and then I can come across, do this one, come back over, line, across, a bit of a wiggle, doesn't have to be even, I mean, yes, flowers are perfect to look at, but they're really, if you look at them, they're not perfect, they're just like you and I. Alright, so a few little lines there, and then I'm going to travel back over, and you've noticed I've probably gone over that section like a handful of times. I think that is because it does not challenge us, hey? Yeah, absolutely, Stella, it's an absolute chore. So now I'm going to do that little fluffy bit that I like to do, where the stamens and that sort of stuff are. And I did it before in this baby over here, and I did the whole top of that cone flower look there. But I only want to make a little fluffy bit there, just like it's just peeking up from the inside. Okay, Jill and Fiona, I'm having a break from making. Yeah, great idea. They're horrible things. I mean, not horrible, but who wants to make them? No challenge in that at all, like Stella said. Alright, so just a little bit of a fluffy bit in there, and then cut off. Let's cut that off, okay? So, you can see, I'll just show you that, and that gives you an idea of what we just did. Well, I just did. It's not perfect. It's there though. The next one I want to do is this little one here, which we've done before again, but I'll show you how it works. I start in the middle, and put down, needle down, and bury my thread. Where did that thread go? There we go. A couple of knots. Gonna just speed her up a bit. I'm going to make straight lines up there and there. I'm going to make a cross. So bang, 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 bang. And then I'm going to come back and show you what I do with that. So we go up, there, up here. And you can see I'm not worrying if it's sort of crinkling up and stuff. I'm just going. It tends to push it out. And I get back here. So you can see I've made a cross. Okay? Now what I'm going to do with that cross is I'm going to come up, and each time I come out, I'm going to fill it out to a petal. Okay? So let's do this one. I know what's going on here. That's too tight, so let's lift her up. It's pushing into my fabric. There we go. And then back down. And I'm keeping them close. The closer the better. Okay, and then I can go the other side, or you can do one side, then the other side, one side, then the other side. You don't have to do what I'm doing. Either way will work. And then back down. And there. Okay, so that's one. I'm going to swing it around so I can see what I'm doing. This one's actually going to go behind this petal, so it's going to end flat. So I'm going to have it ending out here and, you know, here, that sort of thing. So it's not going to be coming to a point as such. So you'll see what I mean. There, travel across, down, up, travel across, and over the other side, up, and let's just travel across and back down. And that effectively makes, there we go, effectively makes it look like it's going behind that petal, that flower I should say. Now we're coming here, up to this one, up to a peak, back down, 3, 4, I mean you can go 6, 7 times, it just depends on how fat you want them or how long you've got them, how big you've made it. It's there's no real rule of thumb other than trying to keep them close together. So once you get to that one, you can go here, up here to this one, back down, go up. You can do it this way, see how I'm coming up, and then back down, and then back up, back down, and that's that one done. Well, I can do a few more. It just looks a little bit skinnier than the other, so let's do a couple more. Now, it could be just that I've gone a bit close than the others, you know. All right, so that's doing those. Now I want to do the crosshairs of that. So I drew before the lines, so they're still there just faintly. So I'm going to come up with my straight line. I want them about the same size. Come up there and back down here, and I can tell, and you probably saw it. It did that loopy thing. That's because my tension, I didn't change it like I should have. And it will stop doing that now. Back down here, and up here. See, it's not doing that loop. It's gonna jump every time I go to that centre bit because it's really knotty under there. I'm going back into that centre bit all the time. Back down, over, and now the side, and then back up. Come over here, and you can notice I've stopped going back to the center. I'm just going to the side of the other petal. I don't know if you noticed that. And go back down. I'm just going to join them in. One more over this side, up, and one more over that side. It makes it a bit fatter, but that doesn't matter. And then I'm going to go down here. I'm just keeping an eye out for comments, just in case you guys comment. If you've got any questions, please feel free to ask. We are having a question day today, so I'm opening up a can of Whoop Air, and I'm going to let you guys ask the questions that you've been wanting to ask, never remember to ask, forget to ask, all that sort of stuff. So that's going to be happening later on today. Alright, so I'm just doing a bit of a filling out, making that one a little bit fatter. If you didn't notice, I did that. What thread are you using? It's beautiful. Shelley, I am using the glorious Wonderfil Mirage. It's a 30 weight variegated thread, and this is number 26. Okay. Up there, and again, this petal is going to go behind this other flower. So I'm going to make it go along the line, travelling, and there. I'll just go back there. Now you can see I've done that flower to that point, but I want to make it just that little bit more fuller. So fuller. So I want to do this. I want to have one here one here in between these things. So that chalk, I just get the chalk pencil. If I'm not too sure, once you've done a handful of these, you'll go, ah, I don't need the pencil, this one. I can do this with my eyes closed. So what I do is I travel up and I come out, and I come out in between there. I don't make them as long as that one. They're a little bit in between, and I finish off at the sides. All right, so I'll come up here, and we go up to about there, down one side, up the other, down there, and up, down, and we're going to make it go just behind that little wiggly thing, and then go to the next one. And we make it go there, behind that flower. Got to make it have some depth. Go over here, this one here. It's just going to fill in that little area because you can't really see it. It's just going to make it look like it's there. And we come up here, a little one there, over that way. And you can see I'm not coming right back down to that centre down here. I am going to travel up there again. Just want that right up the centre there. And just stop and rotate my fabric so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to put one here and here as well because I've missed those. So I'm just going to travel up here. Just put a little one here. Just keeping in sync with everything else. There. Now I'm going to travel over here. And even though I'm getting really, really thready in there and it's doing a bit of a jump, it's still coping really well, I think. I think it's doing an amazing job. It's very thready. The thread is thicker than the normal 50 weight. So I think it's doing great. Come back up here. I mean, you can keep going and make this flower massive, absolutely massive. I have to go now. No worries, Terry. Sorry, I was late to the video. What stabilizer you're using, and it is that black homespun you're using. Yes, so homespun. This is stabilizers. Not many. Actually, I've just got wadding in this one, Shelley. It's just cotton. Michelle, what was the pencil you were using? Kathleen, this is the Bowen pencil I was showing the other night live. $27, you get this, you get a little sharpener, and you get a pack of the chalks that go with it. So, and it's very easy to use. You push the button, and then you take that out and you put it back in when you're not looking through a camera. Okay, very, very easy to use. All right, just... Yep, so bear with me 2 seconds and I'll show you the last little bit. No, that means I need to add it. Postage and there. How much does it weigh? You've got to guess. Oh, it's that one says probably $8.95. So you just get this color where if it's under 500, which I don't think it is, it might be 12.20. No, it is. So $8.95 it is, and then go done. And then that's it. And then you go send and move to the next one.
So if it's under 500,
it's $8.95.
If it's
over 500 to 1,000, it's $12.20. Yep. All right. Sorry, Bowen pencils are so good and recommend them. Yeah, Michelle, absolutely, Shelley. They are the best. And they're cheap to refill. You know, and they last for years. They're a little mechanical pen, they call them. But they last and last and last. I've had one for years and years and years. That's the same one I bought when I first bought one. I've never changed. All right, so we've just done that one again. See? Cool, hey? So that is doing it straight onto the fabric. Now, I'm just going to move that away. I'm going to grab a piece of paper, which Dottie's going to grab me right now, and a pencil. Actually, I've got a pencil. I just need paper. That'll do. Okay, so I'm just going to maneuver this camera for you. All right, so the first one is, the shape of it is this. So I'll just, actually I might get a black texture because that you can't see for the life of you. All right, so that lines is no good. Alrighty, let's try again. Okay, so the first one was this one, and we had that sort of bell shape like this. Sorry, like that. And then it had the cone on it. That's your first one. So I would have drawn that shape out first, and I start in the center and go down, wiggle along and up. Come back down, wiggle along and up. Down, wiggle along and up. Down, wiggle along and up. And you'll notice I get a bit longer and further out at the edge, and then I would do these little wiggle ones here just to fill up that top bit there. And then I would come down here, wiggle along and up. And if they're a bit smaller, a bit skinnier, a bit fatter, that's okay. If they go outside of my draw line, I'm okay with that. They don't touch each other, I'm okay. And I keep going until I get to the end, okay? And then I would come along and wiggle that there. Then I went to my zigzag. So I did my zigzag all through there and filled that up with a zigzag. I also came down before the zigzag and filled in those little bits there. Okay, so I just came up, followed that line, do a little thing up there, and that gives them that little bit of detail at the bottom without going overboard. Okay, so that's what I did there, and that creates that what's that? Pencils are so good. What was Rado's thing? I've missed something. So I get to the ripples out, and I didn't. I should just use black thread on black fabric so see as much of the inner. Yeah, well you can absolutely. No reason why not. Next one I did was the buttercup sort of shape. So the buttercup shape, you start with that look like that. So I'm drawing towards me. Sorry, there we go. So 2 lines down there. They can go to a point if you want, or you can have that behind another flower, and then you do that. And then you draw that one there. And then again, you do the same sort of thing as this. So you start up here, you do your little lines, and you go on, all right? As you get to the edge, come out that way. Come out with a little bit of a kick so it comes up. Again, you'd come up here, you fill in those, and that last one, just make it a point. So then when you're doing these, you start in the middle, okay? So in the middle, go across there, and then off to that point, like that. Then I did all those little lines as I was going, so I was doing the bottom ones as I went along, and I came back and did these little top ones. It's a little bit messy, but you know what I'm talking about because you watched me. Then I came along and did the top ones, so we had some little lines up there just to give it some detail along the top, nice and free moving. Then I did those little zigzags here just to create that little look of the stamens in the centre. No worries, Faye. We'll catch you next time. And the last one that we did today was the star one. So we had the cross. So I started with the point of centre and made the cross. So then we did these ones, back and forth, up, down there, back and forth, and we kept going. I don't know if you can see. There we go. So there we are. So we kept going, and I kept going and kept going until we filled up a nice big area. We made those ones. Then I had the crosshair ones in between, and we did the same. And I'm just going to do this real quickly because we've been here a while. And then I did the little ones in between here, and I did them the last, and then they became little fellas like that, which creates a real star flower. That one does. Yeah, this one. There we go. All right, so that was the last one. No worries, Pat. Thank you for that. All right, so that's those 3 flowers that we did today. Nice and simple ones. that is going to give you a bit of a heads up for later on today at 1 o'clock. The next class is probably in about 15 minutes or so. I will chat to you all very soon. Thank you for joining me. Bye.